Men fall in love with strippers, prostitutes, women with personality disorders every single day. Why is that?
Well, is that love then?
No, it's because they fuck these men to the point where their brains start to melt. And when a man has brain melting, life altering sex, it's like a drug. And it's like all that guy can think about. And that guy isn't gonna just hit and quit a woman who does the freaky nasty shit for him because he knows he can't get that on any street corner.
And so now what they doing in the media today to make women believe in sexual freedom, women are becoming free, but unfortunately, freedom without knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is recklessness. So there's no mental controls governing the female behavior, and she programmed to be sexually reckless to continue to satisfy the male.
So besties, men are exposing their obsession with promiscuous women. A group of very handsome men came out to expose why they love promiscuous women, why they love hoes, why they love bitches. Whether we admit it or not, there are a lot of men who love promiscuous women. They are attracted to this type of women. There are men who find hoish women very attractive, and these are the type of women they go after. There are men who prefer to be with a hoe than to be with a good girl. There are so many men who prefer to pay a prostitute than to be in a relationship with a good girl. They'll go after hookup girls, they'll go after promiscuous women, they'll go after women who they know are escorts, just because those are the type of women they like being with. Those are the type of women they are attracted to. They don't like good women.
Men fall in love with hoes. They don't fall in love with good women. Anytime you see a man crying over a woman and his feelings about a woman, it's always about a hoe. Men don't be tripping about the good girl. Men don't be caring about that girl who's consistent, the girl who's always there. They don't be tripping about her. They be tripping over some hoe. It always be a hoe with a fat booty, and she be on Instagram, and she get flown out, and all the men be falling in love with her. All the men be giving her attention, straight up. It's just some girl that he met in the club, that it would just be a one-night stand, and now he got feelings for her, straight up. You was just a body. She really don't like you. She got a man at home. You was just a side piece, but here you go catching feelings for her. She a hoe, bro. Let it go.
It's something about me that made me want to love a hoe, bro.
Why?
It's a story behind it. They be people,
He be
bro.
wanna save them.
Hoes are human
They
beings,
people.
bro. They're like, aside from when they hoeing,
Like you wanna...
like you get to know them. It's like, damn, you gotta. I ain't gonna lie. I fell in love with a hoe in high school. Like, bro, I swear, I took her from her boyfriend. I heard she had a train written on her, everything, bro. Publicly, I had to, deny it. My heart, though, bro. My heart, bro. That girl was a good girl, bro. Like, she loved me.
Nah, you gonna lie.
I embraced her.
I'm jacking that.
Men reward promiscuity. They reward toxicity. They reward non-traditional values, but then they claim they want a good woman. And then you're like, this is strange. What they're saying and what they're doing is different. Look at what they're saying. They want good traditional women, but look at what they're investing in. They're investing in the woman with her entire body out. And the other things men will say is, I want a natural woman, no makeup. But you see who they're following on Instagram. It's nothing but surgeries, fillers, this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, you're saying this, but what are you actually investing your time and energy into and your resources into?
The biggest lie ever told is that just because you have been in a lot of different relations with men, that nobody's ever going to want you. And that is a lie. Like, there's women out here who have had, like, what men would deem as a high body count, and they still get with them, still wife them up, still take them home to their mom. And it all boils down to is how attractive is that woman to the masses? Do other men still want her? Do other men still want to obtain her? Do other men still want to get with her? As long as other men are still wanting to get with that woman, she's always going to, like, be able to get wiped up. Always. Because men like things to have things that other men want. That is the thing about it. And women are no different. Women to them are just like freaking cars and other collectible items that they want, that other men want. So you're really not even competing against other women in a sense. You're competing against the judgment of other men. For real. That's what it is. So this is just my opinion, okay? Like, take with this information what you want, and I'm not telling anybody to go do anything or to live any certain kind of lives, I'm just saying, like, men are still going to choose what they want as long as other men want it.
Men fall in love with hoes. They don't fall in love with good women. Anytime you see a man...
Let's talk about it. So I'm gonna say boys fall in love with women like that. Cause men, if he gets a good woman, we ain't got time for that. But most dudes actually do fall for girls in that category because the girl that they have at home is not doing what they want them to do. Like, pretty much, let me break this down for y'all. They want a woman that is a saint, but at the same time, they want a woman that is a demon. But they don't want to marry or be with the woman that's a demon, but they want to give them more energy and want them around because, they feed their spiritual and lustful things. But then they got the woman at home that feeds their, I want to be a family man, yada, 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 and all that. So they don't know how to differentiate or get a woman who is really, if you love her properly, she'll be both. So they kind of like, I got you for this, you're my placeholder, but I got you for this. You're the person I'm gonna go to when I want to get down and dirty.
There's a certain type of women that men can't seem to resist, and these are bad bitches. There's something about a woman that looks like a prostitute. I don't know, but us men just can't seem to resist this type of women. Capisci? Amagero amareka kofe kwati liule kopano no kwati ni solola. Banafulunganya bagay, banafulunganya, you don't even know what you like about them. If Mora the scientist and Lato both invited you for a sleepover, which score are you declining? Just be frank. Because personally, I'm declining Mora the scientist score. Because, bro, Lato is different, bro. Because when you step into a cabin, bro, you just find she's throwing it back and forth, man. Nah, man. I know Mara the scientist, I'll need that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But Lato, bro, I need that the whole night, and I need that from Friday to Sunday, man. It's something about a bad bitch that makes even older men beg for them. I don't know why, but in 90% of the time, you'll find yourself begging for a bad bitch. They are so seductive, like, they are so irresistible, you know what I mean? The moment you see them, you just feel like you can even start begging. To say, hey man, somebody is in it to give you something. It's just a little touchy.
Never ever be with a man that has ever used escorts, sugar babies, massage parlors, any of those things. Never do it to yourself, girls. I promise you'll regret it. Even if you are the escort that is going to marry this guy, trust me, this is a man that pays for validation. It's a man that will pay to feel desired. It's a man that's not willing to work on himself enough to get the women he desires. And more so than anything, it's a man that doesn't look for emotional and spiritual or intellectual connection with a woman. He just looks for what he sexually desires. I know you're going to say, oh, all men have that desires, all that. No, not all men. All losers have that desire. The desire to just have a woman that is just good for them sexually. The biggest red flag is men that pay for sex is they're usually porn addicts. They are absolutely addicted to pornography. And how you know that they're addicted to pornography.
Great sirens like a Cleopatra or a Marilyn Monroe that I talk about, they really could almost destroy a man. They would make them fall so deeply in love. Why would a man ever be interested in a woman like that is the question. Why did Caesar fall for Cleopatra? Why did Mark Antony? Because men secretly want that. They want the danger. They want the possibility that maybe this woman will destroy them. They want the danger. They want the element of risk involved. They're secretly attracted to it.
That doesn't mean that they won't date you most of the times without a title, because the reality is if you're in the situation I'm talking about now, you probably don't have the title. You know that you keep having to have the boyfriend and girlfriend conversation and you're not getting the result you want. And I'm not even blaming women, well, not 100% because there is some accountability to have by everybody. But men are definitely smart and sneaky with the way they present it. The reality is men do not want virtue from any other woman but their wife. Mad people, they're mad. So if a man is interacting with you, the reality is he wants you to be easy. He likes it when you're easy, he enjoys it. He's still going to use you, but you'll have good vibes from it in the beginning when you're easy. However, the moment you're up for consideration as a wife, that virtue is in one of the top 3 spots in what he's judging you against. That's the truth for a lot of men. So ladies, if you want to have fun, fine, go live your best life. Do one for me. But if in your mind you know there's any tiny particle of you that could ever want to date this man officially and have him be your man and possibly your husband, prioritize virtue. And I just want to say that for the exceptions of this rule, because there are always exceptions, for best results, assume it's not you, but those women who do make it to girlfriend, wifey, wife, they are often heavily controlled. Like, they don't really go out with their friends. If you notice, they're very much in unless they are out with their men. Their men usually have access to all of their everything, their social media, their phones, their messages. They often have to check in heavily with their men when they're not there. They definitely don't always have, like, they can go out, but it can cause tension. Like, it's just a very restricted lifestyle for a lot of those women because their men feel like, you're a good girl. Because there are some great hoes, let's be real. You're a good girl, you would make my life. And also, a key thing is other people may not know they're a hoe. Like, men don't necessarily mind if you're a hoe if it's on the down low, honey. But anyway, those kind of women, it's not well known that they're hoes, but the man knows in his mind how he sees her that she's a hoe. So he thinks, okay, you have all these other great qualities. If this is the only quality and you're willing to do what I'm asking, which is stay with me, share everything, it's worth the risk. So decide if you want to be the exception, because that's the kind of life that's waiting for you on the other side of that. Just my 2 cents. Now, like I always say, there's always an exception to the rule. For best results, assume it's not you.
These are the type of men who get married to a good girl just because of the image and because they don't want society and their homeboys to mock them for being with a promiscuous woman, but they are going to spend the rest of their lives being in the street with hoes, paying for prostitutes. These are the type of women they find attractive. Most of these men are addicted to pornography. Their lifestyle screams promiscuity because that is what they like to do, and they go after women who are going to fulfill their sexual fantasies. There are so many men who don't like to explore sexual fantasies with their wives, but they would rather go into the street, pay an escort, pay a hookup girl, pay a prostitute or a promiscuous woman to fulfill these sexual fantasies with, because some of the fantasies these men have are so dark, they are so perverse that they cannot do this with their wives, they cannot do this with the women they are married to. So they would rather explore with a strange woman, a promiscuous woman, an escort, a woman who they can pay for sex. Men who prefer sleeping with their side chicks more than they love to sleep with their wives. There are so many men who are in the streets with hoes every day while their wives are at home. These men are sleeping with different hoes every day on the street, in the street, but their wives are at home. They don't love to sleep with their wives. They don't find these women attractive. They just married these women because probably they wanted these women to raise their kids. They wanted a good girl who was going to raise their kids. They wanted a good girl for the image, for the value that a good girl portrays in the eyes of society. But what they secretly want is a promiscuous woman. That is why a lot of them cheat. That is why a lot of them are out there in the streets still paying for prostitutes even though they have wives. That is why some of them have side chicks even though they have wives. That is why a lot of men would rather be in a situation with a prostitute, an escort, a hookup girl, rather than being in a relationship, because a relationship requires them to be committed. A relationship requires them to put in effort in building something that is real and genuine. But rather than them putting in this effort to be in a relationship, they would rather be with a hookup girl. They would rather pay for sex because that's what they're obsessed with. They're obsessed with promiscuity. They're obsessed with this perverse lifestyle. In the eyes of most of these men, you're just a pawn category. This is what I want you guys to understand, as sad as I'm saying it, but that's the truth. There are men who will remove all the money in their bank accounts to pay for sex from an escort, a hookup girl, a prostitute, but they won't be able to give that money to their wives. They won't give that money to their kids. He will go into the streets, pay for sex, come back home to you, who is his wife, and tell you he's broke, he doesn't have money. He'll be crying to you, telling you he doesn't have any money in his account, but he just spent the money on a hookup girl, on an escort. There are men who save money just for sex. There are men who keep women on a budget. Most of these guys, when they go on guy trips, on vacations with their homeboys, they have money that they have budgeted for sex. They will use this money on strippers, on escorts, on hookup girls, on women who they want to sleep with. They have budgeted money for sex. This is what I want you guys to understand. And they will come back to you, who is the girlfriend, to you, who is the wife, and act like they don't have a dime. This is what these guys do. This is why I'll tell you guys to never be an understanding girlfriend. Let me tell you guys something. A guy is dealing with two girls. One is the main chick, one is the side chick. You, who is the main chick, this guy doesn't really do things for you. He doesn't spoil you the way he's expected to, the way you expect him to spoil you. But there is a side chick, the other girl. Probably he's in a casual relationship with this girl. They are just having sex, they are just smashing. He is taking this girl on vacations, he's taking this girl around the world, spoiling her, giving her everything she wants. When he wants to go out with his friends, he calls the other girl, the casual girl, the girl who is a side chick, the girl who he doesn't have anything serious to do with. Sometimes it's even a hookup girl. He is spending money on this girl, taking this girl to places, spoiling her. While you, who is the main chick, you who is the main girlfriend, you who is the wife, you are home looking at places. The reason he's taking this girl on trips and doing all of these things for this girl is because she gives him sex, and she gives him good sex. She sleeps with him whenever he wants, and she's willing to explore, go above and beyond in the bedroom with this guy. Certain sexual fantasies that he cannot explore with you, he is exploring these things with her. So whatever she wants and she asks from him, he is willing to do it because this girl is basically satisfying all of his needs sexually. Men love promiscuous women. 90% of them love promiscuous women. They may not marry a promiscuous woman, but even when they get married to a good woman, they will still cheat on this good woman with a promiscuous woman. All of them find a promiscuous woman, a girl who is a bad bitch, very attractive. They want to sleep with this woman. That is the reason why they work so hard to have money, so that they can have bitches, so that they can have bad girls, so that they can have any woman they want to have. Because at the end of the day, that is what they secretly like. Even though they will come online and pretend and act like, I want a good girl, I want a good girl. Yes, they want a good girl for the image. They want a good girl as a mother of their kids. They want a good girl to raise their kids. A good girl knows how to keep a home. A good girl knows how to keep the family together. But when it comes to what they really want, what they really like, what they secretly love, they want a hoe, they want a bad bitch, they want a promiscuous woman. Because these women are very good in bed. These women are extremely good in bed. They know how to make a man crave them sexually, and because they are able to satisfy a man's needs in the bedroom sexually, and these women have experience from being promiscuous and are willing to explore anything sexual with these men will do anything for these women. That is why anything they ask from these men, they are willing to do. And that is why men will keep money just for sex. They'll keep money for a hookup girl, they'll keep money for sex. And I've heard them say this. They say they would rather be with a hookup girl, they'll rather pay for sex from an escort, pay for sex from a prostitute, than be in a relationship, than be in a long-term committed relationship. And the reason is because with a hookup girl, with an escort, they don't expect anything from these women, and these women don't expect anything from them in return. With a hookup girl or with an escort, the only thing that is keeping you guys together is sex, and the relationship is purely transactional. You pay her with money and she gives you sex. But in a relationship, you're expected to do more than that. You're expected to put in time, effort, energy in building a committed relationship. And most of them even say, rather than be in a relationship with a girl who you're spending so much money on, putting in effort, time, energy in order to love her right, and she ends up betraying you or ends up cheating on you, they would rather be with a hookup girl who they know it is their lifestyle, and the only thing they need to do is pay her for sex and not expect anything like commitment in return. So they would rather be with a hookup girl who they don't expect anything from her, they don't expect commitment from her, and she too doesn't expect it from them, and the only thing that is bringing them together is sex and money. This relationship is purely transactional with sex and money. So there are a lot of men who love promiscuous women, and in as much as I'm not saying you guys should be promiscuous, I'm not advising anyone to be promiscuous. This is what I want you guys to know. Men love hoes, men love bitches, men love promiscuous women, men love mean, toxic women. These are the type of women they fall in love with. These are the type of women 90% of men fall in love with. 90% of men fall in love with this type of women. Every time you see a guy crying over a woman or being heartbroken over a woman, it's because he fell in love with a hoe. He fell in love with a promiscuous woman, a woman who wasn't a good girl, a woman who wasn't a nice girl. Because if she was a nice girl, he wouldn't have gotten his heart broken. So most of them, they fall in love with bad girls. They love bad girls, they love bad bitches, they love hoes, they love promiscuous women. Those are the type of women they are attracted to, sadly, but it's true. And I'm happy they are saying it in this video. I'm so happy majority of the points that have been brought out in this video are by men, and they are basically exposing why they fell in love with hoes, why they love hoes, why they love promiscuous women, why they are obsessed with promiscuous women. Some of these men, they even want to be in relationships with this type of women because they want to tame these women, they want to fix these women, they want to be Captain Fix a Hole, Captain Change a Hole. And when they see that they cannot tame, these type of women are untamable. You cannot tame a promiscuous woman, you cannot tame a hole, you cannot fix a hole unless she wants to be fixed. most of them see this type of women as a challenge. They see a promiscuous woman as a challenge. Or if I can get her to change, if I can get her to fall in love with me, if I can get her to, just the same way a lot of us girls want to change players, want to change F-boys, we think we can get these guys to fall in love with us. It is the same way these men want to change hoes. They want to change promiscuous women. They want hoes to fall in love with them. But it is impossible unless these women want to change. So besties, we've come to the end of this amazing video. Make sure you drop your thoughts on the comment section, drop your experiences as well, drop your advice. I'm dying to see them, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye. Love you.